Hi there. My name is Tegan Carter. I teach at Capitol High School. I teach AP World History and AP Government and AP Comparative Government. And I'm so excited that you're interested in this trip to Italy. So let me take a few minutes of your time to tell you about this trip. And then in your email, I will also give you a link to an online discussion that I'm going to have about this on Tuesday. So I'll be live and you can visit me virtually online and I can talk to you more about this trip and answer any questions. Of course, you can always send me any emails as well, and I'll give you my phone number too. So let me get into the excited elements of this trip. So, first of all, these are the estimated dates that we're going to go on this trip. So, it's going to cover the Boise School District spring break, so this might be a little bit different than yours. One of the things that we can talk to your administrators about if missing days of school is going to be an issue is that this is an educational tour. So, EF stands for Education First, and that's the travel group that I go through. So that means that at every destination that we go to, we have a local tour guide, someone who's grown up in the area and knows a ton about everything that we're looking at. And they give us a lot of background and they give us so much detail, so many more things than we would come to those regions with just a travel book. So it really is an educational tour. We don't have textbooks or anything like that, but there's an educational element to it. So I think that we can make an argument to your administrators that you're missing some of these days of school going on an educational tour. You're not just vacationing with your family. So let me know if you want me to talk to you more about reaching out to your administrators and dealing with that issue. But these are the approximate dates here. So Wednesday, March 18th, let me move my little video, to Monday, March 30th. That's the window. It's an 11-day tour. But we need to have this window open because we do group travel. We travel with another group. And so we're not exactly sure on those set dates yet. But I will let you know as soon as I know, which will be as we get closer to the trip. So I mentioned group travel before. One of the reasons why we do group travel is because it allows us to keep this tour affordable. So this tour is an 11-day tour. It includes a lot of amazing things, and EF wants as many students as possible to be able to travel and see the world. So they try and consolidate their costs, and one of the ways that they do that is through group travel as well. So that's why it will be us, a group of us from the Treasure Valley region, and it will also probably be a school from another place in the US, which is really exciting because then we get to meet lots of other students as well and make new friends on the trip. EF is my educational partner, and I want you to feel confident in traveling with EF. EF has over 50 years of experience. They have offices all over the world. So when we go to Italy, we're not going to be just communicating with EF, this random little office in the middle of the United States somewhere. They actually have an office in Milan, so it will be really close to where we are in Italy. And so you can feel confident that there are boots on the ground there. There are people close by in case anything were to happen. In my experience with EF, they are amazing. They take care of everything. The whole tour is so well planned out. Everyone that they hire to be on the tour is just incredible. They also offer the lowest price as well. So you can't do this trip and get everything that we're including on this trip for the price that we're getting it at. If you were to try and do this individually and individually price it out, it'd be so much more expensive. Plus, there aren't any other tour groups that will give you what EF is giving you for this price. So feel confident that I've searched around, I've looked at these other groups, and I know that EF is the best tour group to travel with. So let's talk about safety. It's kind of scary sending your student off to Italy. EF has provided us with a 24/7 tour director. This is going to be someone who speaks English and Italian. Usually they speak another language or two as well. And this tour director is with us all the time. So he or she is with us on our motor coach that we have in the hotels, at all of the places that we travel to. And this person is the one that's organizing our whole trip. Any issues come up, we go to that tour director. He or she is amazing. All the tour directors I've worked with have just been absolutely incredible people to work with. There's a local presence as well. Like I mentioned before, EF has an office right there in Italy. There's a 24-hour emergency line, so you can get a hold of EF at any time. Your students can get a hold of EF to, if they have any issues, or I can. There's also a peace of mind policy, and I can talk to you a little bit more about this in the email, and also when I have my meeting virtually. I don't want to take up too much time talking about it, but it's a really fabulous policy. And EF always backs up the safety policies that I have in place. So that means when I say to students, you have some free time, you can travel around in groups of 3 or 4, the tour director is there to back up that as a safety precaution too, which is really fabulous. There are other groups that travel with EF. Capitol High School does. There's a couple of online schools that travel with EF. Bora High School does. Boise High School. Pretty much all of the high schools around here and junior highs in the Boise School District travel with EF, and I know a lot do in the Kuna area as well and throughout the Treasure Valley. So EF is well known in this area and trusted. If you wanted to, there are some educational resources as well. So you could earn high school credit by going on this tour, and you have to write an essay. You can earn college credit as well. So you can earn up to 3 credits for college by taking this tour. And one of the things that I really advocate as far as traveling goes, one of the wonderful things about travel is that it really helps you grow as a person. It helps you experience new things. It helps you to get out of your comfort zone and make new friends and experience new cultures, new foods, new places. And all of those things are really amazing for college applications. So it may sound kind of strange to say that, but what colleges are looking for and what scholarship groups are looking for right now are stories that you have that talk about ways that you have grown as a person and changed. International travel like this is one of those things. So I can tell you from experience, this last group that I took to Scotland and England with me, every single one of those kids grew and changed for the better. And they all have wonderful things to say about the trips and wonderful things that they learned as a person. So those are all things that they can take with them and that they can use in their college applications and essays that they have. So let me talk to you about our itinerary. I have a pamphlet that I can send to you. If you send me your address, I can send you a pamphlet that shows all of the things that we're going to be doing and seeing. And I also will give you another pamphlet that goes through all the fine print if you're interested in signing up for this trip. All of it can be found on EF's website too, but I can give you hard copies of those if you want to send me your address if you're interested. As you can see on this little map here, we will land in Milan and then we go on down to Venice. We have 2 nights in Venice. We have 2 nights in Florence. We go to Assisi. Then we go to Rome, and we have 3 nights in Rome, and then we go to Pompeii and Capri, and then we go back to Rome and fly out. So we have 2 days of travel. So we have 2 days of flight time to get to Italy and then to come back. So we have 9 full days in Italy, which is going to be pretty incredible. I have a detailed itinerary again in this handout that I can send to you, but let me go through some of the highlights of this trip. So as you can see, these are some of the wonderful places that we're going to see. And let me give you some highlights here. I'm going to move my video screen. So when we go into Venice, we get to see a glass blowing demonstration. We will get to walk along the beautiful canals in Venice as well and see all those amazing things. We'll get to have time to see all the sites and to go to St. Mark's Square. There's a tour. We have a local tour guide. So all the places that we go to, we have local tour guides. They speak the language plus English. They've grown up there. They know incredible stories about all of these places. So we go to Venice. We have 2 days in Venice to see amazing things. Then we go to Florence. Florence is where we will get to see the David and the museums there, if that's something that you're interested in seeing, Michelangelo's David. We will have a full day to 2 full days to explore Florence, and then we go to Assisi and we see the Basilica of St. Francis, and then we travel to Rome. So we have 2 days in Rome, and we see everything that you would want to see in Rome. Vatican City, the Sistine Chapel, the Colosseum, the Roman Forum, and again, we'll have a tour guide with us there, as we will in Florence as well. So we have all these local people that are traveling with us. I also think that one of the amazing things about this trip is that we're going to Pompeii and to Capri. So we get to see what happened when Mount Vesuvius erupted, and we get to see the amazing ruins of Pompeii, and then we get to hit the beautiful coastline of Capri and experience that too. So with all of these things, we have a motor coach that takes us around everywhere. In fact, I'll switch slides and show you what's included here. So we have a motor coach that takes us around everywhere. This is a nice motor coach. It's not like a school bus. So we have our own drivers, and the drivers are amazing driving these huge coaches in Europe. We have our 24-hour bilingual tour director. We have on-site tour guides that are amazing. We also get to have our own times that we go into these different things too, so we don't have to wait in line for an hour at the Sistine Chapel to get in. Our tour director has already bought us tickets for a time, so we show up and they take us in a different entrance, and essentially we get to go in before other people too. So that is included as well. So we have all of the costs that it takes to go into these different beautiful historical places. All of that is covered. So you have round trip airfare. You have hotel rooms that it'll be about 2 to 4 people. All girls, of course, would all be together. All boys would be together. And these hotel rooms, they're nice hotel rooms. And they have private bathrooms, which is really great. It is an educational itinerary, like I mentioned before. We have guided tours and activities, like I talked about. We get a European breakfast every morning, and we get dinner covered every night as well. So we'll have an Italian breakfast and an Italian dinner every night. We have 24/7 on-tour assistance, so if any issues come up, we have someone there to help us all the time. When you sign up, you also will have a tour donation page, so that means for Christmas, birthdays coming up, you can give your family members the link to your website, and they can donate directly to this trip to help pay for it, which is really cool. If you want to use their resources to write your college essay, you can. You get a travel backpack, and a global travel protection plan is included in this as well, which I'll talk about, and I'll write that down in the email so I don't take up time from this video in talking about it. So some of the things that you need to cover, if you want college credit for this, then you pay for those credits. You have to get your passport, and I suggest that you do that this summer. Get your passport all ready to go. If you check a bag and it's extra heavy, you will have to pay for that cost. Most of the airlines allow you to bring a carry-on and a personal item, so I'm encouraging everyone to just bring a carry-on so that we don't run the risk of losing luggage by checking it. Lunches and snacks. So this trip is a perfect combination of structured time and tour guides and people showing us the ins and outs of specific places. And then they'll say, okay, here we are in Venice. You can go to this place for lunch. You can go here for gelato. You can go to this museum. You have a few hours of free time. Make sure that you're going with 2 or 3 other people, and meet us back here at 3. And so you have free time. So that means that you get to explore and have time on your own. So you will need some sightseeing money. Money for spending money for souvenirs and stuff, and you'll need money for lunches or any snacks. We also do tips. So we tip our tour director, we tip our local tour guides, we tip our bus drivers. And so that ends up being about $10 per day per traveler. So it'll end up being probably about $100 or so of tip money that I will collect before we go on our trip. And then I'll divvy that out as we go along. So all of those things are covered. Again, with this trip, you cannot get everything that I mentioned that's covered here and pay for it on your own for the price that you're going to see in a second. So the price is here. So again, it includes all of these things. There's a weekend supplement because we will go over a weekend and costs are a little bit higher on the weekend. Global protection plan is something that I encourage everyone, or I require everyone to get. And so in that plan, you're covered if your bags are lost, if something happens to them along the way. If you get sick right before the trip and you have to cancel the trip, this covers you for that so that you don't have to pay a huge fee for the cost of the trip. So the global protection plan is something I think is really an important thing for only $200 to have on there. If you get injured on the trip, if something happens and you get injured and you need to go to the hospital, this covers that as well. So this is the total price. There is a cost for adults too. I'm not sure as parents or guardians if you're interested in going on this trip, but adults can come as well. It's more expensive because there are 2 adults to a room, not 3 or 4, and so there's more of an expense for that. So this is kind of how it breaks out in full. If you pay biweekly or if you pay monthly, there's the monthly cost. That's the cost in full. So one thing I do want to mention before I run out of time here is that the price will change May 1st because the airlines are increasing their prices. So I have to end here because my time is running out, but I will write more to you in a message in the email. Thank